Howdy folks, Stock here with Last Best Tool, and let's go behind the scenes a little bit into some decision making. I've got a couple of EDC projects I'm working on, and one of them I showed you earlier where I was coming up with basically a loop of paracord that was going to contain a handful of items, and that would just stay together and I could use them for different things. Obviously in the back of my mind there's always, you know, a survival during the zombie apocalypse, but also that just incredibly helpful, useful, and you know, kind of can bridge that gap between urban and country living. And there's a handful of things. One of them is a flashlight. I want to have a flashlight on this. Doesn't mean it's my only flashlight, but I've settled in on this one. This is kind of cool. This is a unique one by RovyVon. This is the Aurora A7, and notice it says luminous there. I'll get to that. I did a review on this E8 RovyVon here. They're very unusual flashlights. They have a lot of different features, kind of approach it differently. Generally, you have to learn their kind of manual of arms, if you will. But what I really like about this one, and I've been using this for a while, is it is very bright. Depending on which output, which emitter you get, it can be up to 600 lumens. It's got a good, nice cycle of lighting. You know, that's if I hold this down, I can just get the full amount, or I can click it on and get the moonlight setting, which is perfect, you know, in a really dark area. And then I can also cycle up through the 4 different settings. If I double or triple click it, it turns on some side lighting. You know, this kind of little ambient light, like if you're almost like a candle. And I can also click through a brighter setting on that ambient, and then a flashing, kind of a strobe or warning light there. And then it's got another feature. If I do 4 clicks, it kicks on a ultraviolet, and this is a UV light kicking out there, so it does have UV potential, but also, as you notice, this thing, it's got this blue glow. Now even when it's off, that blue glow, it's a little hard to see. I don't know if you can see it at all here, but I can see it, and at night it really glows. There's a little bit there I could pick up. So you can see it at night. You can find it at night. And I've been using this for a while, basically like a bedside light, and it's great. You just have to remember, you know, turning it on. If you hit it once, it may not turn on. You'd have to go twice to get to that low setting. Or if you're, you know, the bump in the night, I can just hold this on for a bright, just instantaneous, and I can find it, I can see it. I've got the UV in the other set, and it's surprisingly long. I think it's rated up to like 72 minutes, you know, because it's throttling down, but in reality, this thing, it just puts out a bunch of light and stays lit, and you can see it at night, which is, to me, an advantage. Other things, compasses, you know, if I'm going south of the equator, I'm going to definitely want something that's going to work south of the equator. If you didn't know that, the North Pole basically is down when you are south of the equator, and so your compass needle's trying to point down and drags on it. That's why they are, you know, global compasses that actually have an extra gimbal to take that up. And these are unaffected by that. That's why you see them on boats. They can be anywhere. However, you know, I've always carried this guy. I might carry a smaller one. You can buy these little ones. They're good and bad ones. If I was going to get a little tiny one, recommend one, I'd probably recommend this little Sun2 here. I've had great luck with it, and you can pull it apart into just the little capsule if you want. I've done that before. Another thing I'm looking for is tweezers. I've got several options. I'm probably going to go with this one. This is the Civivi. This is that tack and tweeze, and apparently these were sold out for a while. I guess they're back in stock. It's a way overbuilt, super precise, nice little tweezer. I can throw it on the back of, or throw it on my my planned loop here. For things like this and the flashlight, I have quite a few different options as far as split rings, and you can buy titanium split rings fairly inexpensively in different sizes. I've got 3 different sizes here, plus some larger ones. You know, here's kind of unique split rings in titanium. So that's how I'll connect them. Another thing, obviously, is a little pry bar. I've got a couple of options here that are titanium. There's 3 titanium ones. Teeny weeny little guy. This is the O-Lite, the O-Tackle, or yeah, the O-Tackle 2 Mini. Pretty good solid one. This is I think it was Schrade. I don't know who all makes it, but I don't know if it's made anymore. And then I've got some steel ones like the 511 and the Night Eyes, but definitely a pry bar. I may connect it to one of these titanium. These are all different kinds of little titanium doohickeys. Probably wouldn't take that. It's got a knife on it, but I've got little teeny weeny knives. Pretty cool, huh? Here's another different form. Lots of different options here. Look at that one. Tells you who it is. Huh? It's a bottle opener. Key Unity. Titanium there. They can just use the spring mechanism on the titanium for stuff. If you want one that has a striker, can get something like this. Actually, I think it works better that way, yeah. Little titanium key ring, sort of a bottle opener there. But anyway, enough of those. Whistles. I'm leaning towards one of these two. Probably this one here is made by the Wee Knife Company, which is basically the parent company of Civivi. Both of these two are titanium. Of course, you can also use kind of a traditional coach's whistle here, just to have one. I think it's a McGregor. You can buy them fairly inexpensively. We have rafting whistles or water sport whistles as well, but I'll probably go with this one. It seems it's a little bit heavier. Weight is absolutely not a concern with this thing, but it's also beefier, a little stout, and I like that it's got the hole already in it. I am going to bring a Firesteel, probably this one. A Firesteel, I mean, there are smaller Firesteels, and I have tiny little ones, but I've also snapped them in half, and truly, if your hands are cold, or if you're trying to use really gross motor movements to strike one of these things, you want it to be stout. Otherwise, you may just bust it in half. I like this one here. This is kind of a knockoff from Exotac, but you can also carry some tinder in the top of the thing. So all you need is any kind of a piece of metal to scrape it, you know, and you can get things going. But I'll probably go with this. This is actually part of another larger kit that I've got. Here's a teeny weeny kit that I built out that I've used and traveled with. Take the knife out of it, but you know, there's the compass, lighters, little tiny kind of Leatherman in there. And then I did a video on, you know, building this guy here. So I've got flashlight, I've got a knife blade, Firesteel. There's some cordage in the bottom, large storm matches. There's the cordage. But anyway, real basic stuff. But I'm interested more in that loop. What else? Oh, the RovyVon, by the way, does come with a magnetic pocket clip if I wanted to add that to it, and that'll hold it in place. See it there? You can see it maybe down there. There you go. So it's actually a pretty strong magnet. I did think about this one. This is a Streamlight. This is the Pocket Mate. It's a great light, real simple design, USB-C charging, just like the RovyVon there. That's a good option as well. This is a TSA Leatherman right here. No knife, so it does have scissors, but it's supposed to be possible to easily carry this through. I have done it many times. I always hook it to the outside of something. Here's a little tip. I make things super duper obvious because I don't want them digging around. I wrote a comment back to somebody who had mentioned something like that, and I actually had found that you know, generally somebody running the x-ray machine passes off the information to somebody else who starts digging through your pack, and they're looking for something. They're maybe not sure what. They might even know a quadrant or a pocket, but I just have them totally outside. Or I'll, you know, if I have to take my shoes off, I may just attach it to my shoelace or something like that, just to make it totally obvious. There it is. I'm not trying to hide it. I don't want you digging around looking for something. But, you know, everybody's got TSA stories. I also use these little carabiners. These are night eyes to attach a lot of things. So this is kind of what's going on in my thinking. If I am headed out, you know, if like I was flying up to Alaska or something, or Canada, I may actually bring a more sophisticated wrist compass. I tend to navigate that way using the compass more than my phone GPS. I'm getting used to it, but, you know, I'm old, so I grew up with compasses. There's the knife blade that I took out of this SOG, so I may try to get this along with me. But you never know if somebody says that maybe this is a weapon or something. It's hard to know, but we'll see. Anyway, those are some things going on in my thought process, so I'll be choosing. Oh, I've got to have a good tactical pen, right? Or I mean a good pocket pen. These two are right in the reins. I've also carried Sharpies. A lot of these go dead on me after a while because the tips just aren't that durable depending on what I want to write on. But if you've got specific things, or even, you know, general things, let me know. I'm always curious what other people are interested in carrying. But the reason I do this is everything always comes in handy. In fact, I used to travel with this guy. Actually, in France, cut up a baguette. You know how hard those are, using this as my utility tool. SOG makes a little locking knife. Probably a good way to get in trouble. Looks like a key. It's got a lock back mechanism right here. Anyway, if you've got specific things, let me know. I'm always curious, always building out my set of ways to combine tools into compact kits and then scale them up and down. So I've got big kits, small kits, tiny kits. It's just like a hobby. I just enjoy it. Anyway, with that, Doc out.